If you guys are watching this video or have watched this channel at all, one thing that I will always preach is that if you were going to do any upgrade on any car, no matter what that brand is, always go for that upgraded part that is going to make you think of longevity. So what are you going to do a year from now, 6 months from now, 3 months from now? It's, I'm basically getting a new air intake. You might be thinking to yourself, like, why would you be getting a new air intake? You already got a CTS Turbo one, it's open air, it sounds great, it has all the turbo whistles you could ever want. Yes, that is true, and it sounds great, and I thought it was expensive until I bought this new one. It hasn't arrived yet, it should be in this video, but let's just say that the CTS Turbo one is no longer going to be in the engine bay. Instead, I have opted out for an RK Tunes front-mounted intake. So on an F chassis N55, you have your air intake system in the front of the engine. Mostly it's stock, but this one is obviously the CTS Turbo open air cold air intake, which, you know, it sounds great, awesome, but there is a few problems. Obviously, when you have a tuned car or you have a car that is pushing more than the stock power, you want the coldest air possible for the best overall engine performance. I'm not gonna say the CTS Turbo doesn't do that, because it definitely does, it just doesn't do it the best. But obviously that air intake was not $500-600. So this one I bought for I think $250. This other one I bought for well over almost $600. Now, if you think about it, the physics behind this is very simple and it makes a lot of sense. So obviously when you have an engine bay that's closed from the hood, you're gonna have all that hot air going into here, potentially. But then also again, you have your vents from here in the front going straight to none other the vacuum. But when this front-mounted intake comes, you'll see that it'll go this way and right into everything here. Now you do have to make some small modifications to the front here, not the actual bumper, but like to the intake system. But when you have air directly getting sucked in from literally no heat sources whatsoever, because if you see here behind the grills, those are coolers. Actually, you just have your trans cooler, you have your AC condenser, and then you have your front-mounted intercooler. If you have the front mount intake right here, well, guess what that does? Sucks in nothing but cold air. But again, even though it's recommended to have an upgraded air intake for stage 2, not everyone can afford a $600 air intake. So there's that. Then the new intake showed up. 3 days later, I had the new air intake. Unfortunately, the box came like this. It looks like just old tape, but I guess we're about to find out to see if all the contents are in here or not. And after discovering all the parts and pieces of the new air intake were there, except the RK Tune stickers, it was finally time to implement this into the 435. What a beautiful engine bay it is right now. Keep this image in mind, but this is about to change. So I'm removing the CTS Turbo intake very carefully because I actually sold it. And that's one of the things that I always strive to do, is if you buy something aftermarket, always try and sell the original piece. Or if you're doing this, going from upgrade to upgrade, just sell the other upgrade. Out with the old and in with the new. Now, this one may look bigger, but if you really smush this down, I'm pretty sure they're about the same size. Because this one's obviously just a lot fatter, and this one's a lot longer. Now, take a look. There's the obvious. I also just want to say that front-mounted intakes versus this, there's going to be a massive difference. Oh, what is that? Oh my god. Oh, it's an Infinity. Oh my god. So that's kind of good. Anyways, as I was saying before, there's a massive difference between the front mount and this one actually. And that's not just besides the massive cold air intake volume versus like cold and hot air and the whooshing sound and stuff. Now from an intakes, you still get the whoosh sounds. Not as much because you don't hear it as close, but the CTS Turbo one was like $230 when I bought it. Now it's like $300 or something. It's still expensive. I'm not saying it's not. I think it's going to be 100% worth it. I've never had a front mounted intake ever, and the only bad part is that you do have to cut stuff, like I said before. And we have to get inside the bumper here, so we have to remove this trim just a little bit. However, that is done. But we have to get inside the bumper, pop this grill out somehow, and then we should be good. One thing I cannot stress enough is that you do not need to do a full bumper removal. Matter of fact, it won't even really help you if you do remove the bumper fully. I say that because when you're about to see the rest of this video, It's a lot of squeezing and a lot of, well, maneuvering. So one tip, if you guys ever do this yourselves, just go ahead and take out all these screws. It's going to be a whole lot easier because then you're going to end up pulling the bumper, and as you can see, if you just pull this side, it's going to pull that side too. This guy's almost out. Try not to break any clips when you're doing it. Just get your patience up because I broke one of them. That guy has to get removed. Same with anything else that follows after it. And we have to trim just a little bit of this. So, let me just state. Again, if you are planning on doing this, just understand that there is no going back to stock. The CTS Turbo one, at least you can go back to stock because you don't have to trim anything. So this new front-mounted air intake makes you remove all of the OEM intake components. So all the passages, because guess what? There's going to be a big old tube that's going to go right in its place. So just be prepared for a lot of squishing, squeezing, maneuvering, cuts and bruises. Okay, so all the OEM stuff is off, so I can start installing the RK Tunes one, and as you can see, the diameter of that is quite extreme. So we're gonna need to cut something. Not sure how much, but it looks like quite a bit actually. That is probably about 2.5 inches, I'd say. That little opening. That does not look like 2.5 inches. And oh boy, there is absolutely no going back now. But I will say this is one separate piece, you just have to dismantle it. So if anything goes wrong and you have to buy the OEM part again, well, just expect maybe a $60 to $80 fee there. Other than that, let's get cutting. And for your benefit and myself, this is the part number of the thing we're cutting. Since this is such an awkward space, I did measure it. It was 3 inches wide. Not 2, it was actually 3, so 3 inches is a lot bigger than what you think it is. That's what she said! And now I cut 1/4 of the plastic, so now we're at 3 1/4. I really am curious to see how big this is, because this is the opening for where the cone is. And that looks like 4 freaking inches, Jesus Christ. So, we're gonna skip the boring part. I'm gonna finish doing the cuts and everything, and then, after that, I'll pick the camera back up and we'll get installing this thing. Let's just say I ended up cutting a lot more than I thought I would need to, but it turns out that I made the process of installing the tube 10 times easier. You know, thank God this is silicone and squishy, because all the space here is plenty big now. You see that silver thing? That's the headlight. It's got like almost no space to fit through here. So this is gonna be probably the hardest part. Ugh. Yeah, no. Well, if you want a challenge, here's the challenge. And luckily most of the cutting had been done by the Dremel because it broke. Now this part I can safely say was the most difficult, because one, you're fitting a very large tube into a very small space, and you have to maneuver it ever so slightly, inch by inch. Matter of fact, millimeter by millimeter, in order to get it around different parts that you cannot physically cut because they're metal. That's right, they're part of the actual metal frame and or the chassis. I will say also you need some lube, any type of lube. Literal lube or Dawn dish soap works even better. And matter of fact, I didn't even use full dish soap. I had used Dawn dish soap with a bit of water, and it gave me enough grip to slide it in, but enough grease on the outside that it slid in even better. As you can see, I'm struggling heavy. Now I will say this total job took roughly about an hour for me. All I will say and recommendation is to just be super smart with how you're maneuvering the tubes. That means this one and the other massive one that has the MAF sensor to it. It's all about maneuvering, squishing, and pulling. Well, and pushing too. We did it. Holy shit. Sorry. Breathing heavy because it was hard. You can see on my hands and everything. It's definitely not the hardest thing I've ever done in terms of modifications on this. But you definitely have to do some squeezing, some pushing. I want to say the headlight's fine. Obviously this space is going to get covered up with the grill, but that is not possible without any type of lube or like some dish soap or something. But this is in. I mean, this is the hardest part, because now it's going to be super easy because I just have to get a clamp, go there. Oh, maybe I smoked too soon, because I guess still got to get that air filter on. Now I'm doing the magical part of putting the blue air filter onto the tubing. Now, one thing I will say is that it comes with 3 different size couplings, as you can see with that silver piece that I just inserted, because 30 minutes before this clip, I was struggling and trying to figure out why a 1/4 inch end plastic part was going to fit around and or even inside that tubing. It wasn't staying, so why would it actually ever stay? Well, there's coupling, so use the couplings. Now, in all honesty, this air intake and installing it really wasn't at all that bad. I personally think that if you are doing an upgrade and there's no set challenge, then it's not really too much of an upgrade now, is it? It's not really beneficial to the car, and it's not much more beneficial to you as the driver, because you're not very proud of the moment. Each and every one of my upgrades that you see here in this frame gave me a lifetime of a struggle. Some were quicker than others, but I will say this really tied everything into play. Now, hopefully some of you can see this car in person, because this truly is a one-of-a-kind F36 N55. So it's at night, so if you don't see me that well, I'm sorry. But I want to show you guys exactly how a front-mounted intake sounds from the cabin of the car, because the whole point of the CTS Turbo one was to hear the whoosh and the of the turbos, and for this you quite honestly will not hear it. It's just how it is. But again, you get all the cold air versus cold and hot air. Granted, this is car's slightly warm. Here we go. So, in all honesty, I don't think you can hear it on the camera, because you can barely hear it in here. But you can hear it enough to be like, I do have an aftermarket air intake. That's all. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video, because it's a good one.